Lisa, and I'm Charles, and we are Rockstar Entertainment, and we're interviewing a young gentleman by the name of Robert Chevelle from the band Lit Soul. He's all the way out in Los Angeles right now, and obviously we're coming from Florida. We're a few thousand miles away from each other. How you doing, Robert?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure, very much so.
How are things out there in La La Land?
It's, like 70, 80 degrees. Things are opening up. Live bands are back, and, so far so good.
Any gigs yet?
Oh, yeah. We had a gig in February. It was a house party, kind of like the first one we did, and that was like really cool. It was off the hook. It was like an old school house party, minus the kegs, but there was a lot of other stuff there.
That's cool.
And then we had our CD release party at Stages, the old Malone's down in Orange County in Santa Ana.
Oh, wow.
And that was cool. That's a great place. I don't know if you've ever been there, but there's 2 stages. It's very professional, great sound system, so the audience can watch a band over here. It's inside, then you can turn around the other band. So we headlined that night around 10:30 and had our CD release party, and off the hook, really, really happy. We have other gigs. We're playing Vegas July 24th. We're playing Gory Hills Canyon Club up here soon with Wild Child.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I used to live in Gory Hills.
Yeah, so there's the Canyon Club there. So it's really, it's a club, but it's, it's an upscale, nice club,
They do a lot of live stuff there.
What's that?
They do a lot of live stuff there?
Yeah, well, now they are. I mean, they just kind of came back with some bands, but I played there a lot. I played with Wild Child and Which One's Pink? It's a Pink Floyd tribute band. It's just like Us and Them kind of a thing. So it's kind of like that, that Canyon Club there has a lot of big tribute bands, and then they kind of put original band with them. And then, other bands go through, like Stephen Pearcy from Rat and Loverboy and, things like that.
So they bring in some headliners too, and
Yeah.
the up-and-comers and the headliners. And speaking of up-and-comers, we have Robert from Lit Soul here, and we've been listening to some of your music. I have to admit to you, I really didn't know too much about you guys or your band, but we've been listening to you and watching some of your videos on YouTube today, and I'm quite impressed. And I'm not easily impressed, though, but I'm quite impressed. Like the band a lot, like a lot of the cuts. How long has the band been together, Lit Soul?
Yeah, I also write poetry, and I've been in other bands. But, I originally came up with the concept of Lit Soul, believe it or not, like 2004-ish or something like that. But we never did a live show until August of 2009. So it's been basically, with my drummer, Ty Dennis, we've been together now 10, 11 years,
Right. So this is your baby then.
This is mine, yeah. I played drums in other bands. My first instrument was drums. I play guitar, I sing, but at one point, it's certain things happen and you kind of want to have your vision, I try to, it's like a family and you got to everybody's got to contribute, but at a certain point, I just kind of want to do my thing in my music. So I write most of the music up until not this album, Lit Soul, one before that called Your Crusade. I pretty much wrote all the songs up to that point. And then I started writing with a gentleman named Steve Sampson on that album a little bit. And then this album, the new one that's out, is pretty much, 90% him and I.
Cool.
Awesome. So
writing. This
has been your main music
Outlet?
Thank you. Since the 2000s. Prior to that, what did you do? Are you from LA?
Well, that's a really long story. My mom was pregnant with me in San Diego, California, and then she flew under the radar pregnant with me into Naples, Italy. My dad was in the Navy.
Wow.
So I was born there. So my first language was Italian, but I'm not really Italian. But it was Italian, and then I had nannies that kind of took care of me till I was about 3 or 4. Then I went to England, and I was on a ship for like a year in the Mediterranean. Then I came here when I was about 6 or 7 to Ohio, Salt Lake City, Utah, Arizona, Tucson, California. But I feel like I've been in, California, LA
So what you're saying is you don't really get around much. Then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think Lisa wanted to ask you if you have a label deal. Are you guys signed or what?
We have been, it was Miss Crazy Records for a bit there, some other things, but I mean, I'm not really aware of any, record labels these days. I mean, if there are, that'd be great, but so it's always just kind of been doing it my thing, I have other friends who are in other bands. I got a friend named Denny, from C4, so he plays in like 3 or 4 bands. I'm not that kind of guy anymore, I just really want to do this band and just get the music better and better and just try to get bigger and bigger, and who knows, but it's just it's in my blood, and I just keep plugging along and just making better records, and just we don't exactly have any official management. I got people who love to help us,
Gotcha. Yeah.
got a lot of that, and so if it's booking gigs, helping us make an album, things like that.
Very cool, very cool. Well, there's an old saying, and my father used to use it a lot, Robert. If you can't use your friends, what good are they?
Okay.
And he meant it in the best of ways. Don't get me wrong. He meant it in the best of ways. So the new album's coming along. The name of it?
It's self-titled Lit Soul. I've had, I don't know how much backlog you have, but this is the 6th album. I got an album called 7 Worlds was the first one, and then I have Poetry with Music. It's a complete poetry album. It's about almost 50 minutes of poetry that has music. Okay, so it's a bit different. Everything from Spanish guitar to waterfalls to heavy hard rock but it's poetry. You could say my lyrics in general are poetry, but I sing on the other albums. On this, I'm just doing straight up poetry. But I don't know. Sometimes you get poets and it gets a little boring. So I wanted to spice it up with some music. So that's actually was one of my biggest sellers. It has a whole underground type of thing, So it's called Lit Soul Poetry with Music. And then I have an album after that called Libertine Dream. And then after that, I have an album called Love at War.
I think I hear a song called Libertine Dream today. I think.
No, that was the name of the album. There's not a song called Libertine Dream.
Okay, I'm mistaken about that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like 7 Worlds, and it's poetry with music, and then it's Libertine Dream, and then it's Love at War, then it's Your Crusade, and then now the self-titled Lit Soul. I just felt right to call it Lit Soul. So.
Well, that's fantastic. I got to tell you right now, when I was looking at your stuff today, and I will be looking at a lot more now that we're doing this, and we know of your existence and everything else, and hopefully this will help a lot of other people learn of your existence as well. I did notice some parallels to you and a guy who was actually born in this town that we're sitting in right now. His name was Jim Morrison, and some of your music and some of your lyrics, I said to myself, this guy reminds me a little bit of Morrison, just a little bit, I mean, if I may say so. I don't want to, rock the boat if I can help it.
I appreciate it. That's great company, and that's not the first time I ever heard that, but yeah.
So who are some of your musical influences then?
Oh, I think it started off as Motown when I was a kid, and then I actually saw, when I was really small, I saw the Stones on Saturday Night Live on the Some Girls thing, and I didn't really know anything about rock at that point, I think, and I just started watching it, and it really just grabbed me, just Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and Ron Wood, and and Mick's like, I think they're partying pretty hard, but they do like the Some Girls tour. Mick goes up and starts licking Ron Wood's lips, and nothing like, I'm just saying, to me it was just like, wow, I think in general, the music thing and having fun like that, it's like, I want to do that,
Yeah.
So, then from there, went on to UFO, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think my vocal range and me writing music, like you said, I think some of the Doors stuff. By the way, my drummer is Ty Dennis. I don't even know if he is, but he played with Ray and Robbie for 12 years. Yeah.
Wow, that's
he also
awesome.
played with Ian Astbury. Ian Astbury from the Cult played with the Doors for a while. So he still plays with Robbie. He came from Robbie's band, and then when they got the Doors together. Remember the whole storyteller thing back in the day? Like they had Scott Weiland and Ian Astbury and Days of the New and all that, and they were just kind of giving stories of how it came up and had these different singers and stuff. Anyways, Ray and Robbie zoomed in on Ian. They didn't know if they'd want Scott or Ian. Scott was a little bit off or something on stability maybe. But so Ian did it, and Ian's like a total Jim Morrison freak. I mean, both, So, I mean, you want to know what he had for breakfast and everything. So he played with him for 5 or 6 years. Ian was in that band. And then the original drummer was supposed to be Stuart Copeland from the Police. Yeah. And I actually saw their first gig. It was at the Harley Davidson Fest out here, outdoor kind of a circus car show, something like that. But Stuart Copeland was playing, and then after that he breaks his arm, and he broke his contract. So Robbie goes, I got a drummer, and it's Ty Dennis, from my band, and he already knew all the songs. So he played with them for like 10, 12 years until Ray passed away.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, so you got Ty Dennis on drums. Tell us who your other side guys are. Who's playing lead guitar in your band and your bassist? And
yeah, I mean, through the years, I've probably had, with all these albums, I've probably had 4 or 5 lineups, but Ty's been the most consistent. Me and Ty has been the most consistent. I've had some incredible musicians. I mean, like, in the early days was Elliot Waldhorn playing, through a Fender combo, and his Telecaster with some, distorted pickups, and, he played a little more bluesy, and then from there went to Joe Dagulas, who's got this flying V with a huge, Randy Rhoads white stacks, so they're quite different, and then from there I went to Jess Jimos, who's a really incredible guitar player. All these guys are, because I sing and play rhythm and I write the music, I'm not a shredder, right? But they're shredders,
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. So then after Jess Jimos was Steve Sampson, who's the guy that I started writing. Like all these other guys, some guys don't write music. They're great guitar players, but they don't write music, right? So, but then some guys do. So then Steve Sampson, when he got into the band, he started, like I said, the previous album, we wrote one song together called Hold My Name. And then from there on this new album, we were like, that went pretty good. So now we did this album. So then there was Steve Sampson. And then he's supposed to be in the band. He was in the band for 4 years, but then he had something come up in West Virginia and his parents and the COVID thing. And, so I really blew that up. And then there's also this Dave Eggers, he's got a back problem and some other things. But funny story, just real quick, is like, 2 years ago or something, it was my birthday. I'm going to do a birthday gig at Petey's. And I was like, I don't want to play guitar. I just want to drink and have a good time. Let's do some covers as well. Let's do other songs. And I was just joking to Steve, and he goes, well, why don't we have Dave? And the funny thing is Dave and Steve played in a band called The Unusual Roosters. Have you ever heard of them? They also played in Stonebreed. They're original guitar players for Stonebreed. Have you ever heard of them? And then also Burn Cycle. So these guys are like, he was like, okay, let's have Dave come in. So he comes in for one show, totally prepared, everything. Great show. The next day I get a text from Steve, Dave wants in the band. So I had to think, and all of a sudden it took me like 2 seconds. I was like, well, that's my KK Downey and Glenn Tipton. That's my Kerry King and my, Jeff Hanneman. That's my Thin Lizzy guys. I mean, they just know each other so well, So we got to do about 10 gigs in that lineup, and then all this stuff happened. So now I have Johnny Fortune, who I found in a Rat tribute band. He actually plays in a Rat tribute band, a Kiss tribute band, and a Scorpions tribute band. And I just saw him one night after this whole thing with Steve happened. I'm like, this album's almost done being recorded. This is really bad timing. And then I just went up to him after one night of a show, and I just said, hey, here's my card if you ever feel like playing original music. And he's like, yeah, man, I know your band. That's fucking Hank and all this stuff. And I didn't really think much of it. And 5 days later, I get a phone call, and he's loving it to death because all he does is play covers. You know what I mean? So now him and I wrote 2 new songs together. So, and then on bass is he just likes to be called Kostas, Kostas. He's from Greece.
Ah, so he's wanted.
These guys, they're just such great musicians, all of them. I mean, they're just, I always kick myself. Like, I'm so happy that they want to play was all my music. Now we're writing other music, and now we're writing even more new music with these guys. But sometimes I think I'm the most weakest link in the whole thing. But evidently not, so.
No, it takes a village, and it's the same thing in a band. Is it a marriage? Yeah, it's a marriage between a bunch of different people, and it's tough. But when it works, man, it's just magic, isn't it?
Yeah, the magic's flowing.
Absolutely. It makes me just totally happy. And when it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and you got to switch gears. But I'm blessed that 90% of it has just been incredible, with certain
We've all
players.
been there. We're both actual lead vocalists. I mean, I started singing lead vocals back in the Stone Ages, and
He opened up for Fred Flintstone.
that's right. I mean, Barney was in the audience, But yeah, so.
Oh, was Queen of the Stone Age on yet? Just kidding. Queens of the Stone Age.
I did see Queen in concert when I was a kid.
Yeah, Lucky
With
Ted
Freddie.
with Freddie.
Yeah, that was good. Good stuff.
Gosh, that sucks.
All right, so the little rock star here, she's interjecting. Our daughter Dallas, she's a professional musician as well, and we took her to see Queen with Lambert a couple years ago, and it was a phenomenal.
It
show.
was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, what was I getting at here? Oh, I wanted to ask you another question. I'm sorry?
Yeah.
What?
No, meet all you guys are musicians in the family. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I play with Queen as well. Paul Rogers played with Queen too.
Oh yeah. I saw that on video, and I thought it was pretty good. I mean,
you know, from like Free and Bad Company, and he's got that range. His voice is incredible, but you don't think of Freddie Mercury,
No, you don't
at all. But when he did it, he actually got his register, like not all the way up there, but he
pulled it off.
It was really good.
He did a tasteful job of it,
that,
right? Yeah. So I got to ask you a question. I want to ask you this song, "When I Die." Okay, you got who's playing flute?
His name is Juan Cardenas. Juan Cardenas.
And
he's another poet, singing? Kind of in the scene. I know him. The chick her name is Jewel Steele. She plays in a family band called Stereo Love. It's a 3-piece. The dad plays drums, she sings, play guitar, and her sister plays bass.
Awesome.
So we've played together a lot. So yeah.
That reminded me a little bit of what Richie Blackmore's doing these days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? Or
saying?
it kind of reminded me of Van Wilson from Florida, or like Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane.
Well, that too.
That's what we had in mind.
Yeah, you're right. You got the whole hippie thing going on there. But that's awesome. That's great. That's cool.
So I hate to bring up the C word, but I'm going to do that. How did you handle not being able to go out and gig and do the whole band thing during COVID? What did you do? Did you use it to inspire you to write new stuff? What did you do?
Yeah, I don't know how much you guys know about me, but I got like this on my arm. It's called "We the People." You know what I mean? I believe in the Constitution. I'm a constitutional. I'm forgetting the word right now, but it's like I do believe in the founding thing. So my point is, I'm not going to get into. You got to watch your words here, but for me, it really sucked because you couldn't do anything. I didn't really change my life though. I still went out. I still do things. You know
That's what I was going to ask you. Were you breaking the law?
What's that?
Were you breaking the law?
Oh wow. I was breaking the law. Yes. But it's
good
not
for you,
really a
man.
law. It's a mandate. It's a mandate. There's no. It doesn't break the Constitution. You know what I mean?
No,
the Constitution is the law.
doesn't.
I know. I was being facetious. We're really blessed here in Florida,
And I asked because
the governor's awesome.
Our governor's awesome. He is. But we have family out there.
We do.
And all in Thousand Oaks, Simi Valley, Malibu, Orange County. And we were getting our information of what was going on there, and then it would trickle, towards us. So you guys had it rough out there. Like, they were serious.
Oh, really bad. Really, really bad. It's just, it was really depressing actually, but what thing it did do is it gave me more time to get that album done.
Right.
Yeah. So you used it constructively.
Yeah. And I wrote a lot more, and there's a scene of us people, you can't, like, don't I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. You know, don't, if you want to wear a mask, you want to get vaccine, whatever, but don't tell me, like, if I want to go over to a friend's house and write some music, you know, you can do that. You know what I mean? Because they do it in all the other states except maybe 3 or 4, you know, in the peak. And unfortunately, California is one of the worst in that way. So I think I'll save myself and kind of leave it at that. But we got through it, and now things are opening, and, you know,
Glad to hear
clubs.
that.
Yeah. And
Glad to hear that. We can walk in almost any place without a mask now, and very little feedback or negative feedback from it. So
yeah,
we're pretty lucky here. We're very fortunate. But anyway,
yeah.
Allison, are you hiding over there somewhere?
Yeah, we want to say hi to Allison. Allison, got it.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, girl. How are you?
I'm good. I've been enjoying the interview here. I got a front row seat. It's been fun.
There you go. There you go.
Yes, and thank you for bringing him to us and Lit Soul.
Yes, definitely.
I got to ask him a really personal question. How old are you, Robert?
I'm a vampire, bro. I'm a vampire, so I've been around a long, long time. So, you know, I just kind of stay the same age.
Yay. I'm striving for that.
Yeah.
Got that Dorian Gray thing going on here.
Can I plug one thing? Our YouTube page, if you guys check out, I know you just started looking, but on my YouTube page, it's Lit Soul 1.
Okay,
L-I-T-S.
one, the numeral or the word?
Lit Soul, like the band. Like the band, L-I-T-S-O-U-L, all together.
Right.
And then the number 1. The number
Number
one.
one, yeah.
The number 1.
Yeah, yeah.
I went
And then
on the YouTube and saw some of your
I mean, you can
stuff.
Google it, YouTube it. There's a ton of stuff out there, but specifically, if you go to the YouTube page, there's 2 playlists. One is the official videos, like some of them are pretty, you know, high quality. It's on a playlist. There's 13 official videos, and then there's another playlist with just a boatload of live stuff through the years. So that's probably where you get the source of it if you want to check that out later.
Well,
Really
like I said, we just got started on this, so we will be checking this out, and we hope that everybody who's watching this will be checking this out as well. And you're also on Facebook?
Facebook, yeah, Reverb Nation. We're on iTunes, Spotify.
Give us some of those handles, man.
Well, they're all on your website, right?
Yeah, on litsoul.com, it's all there on the bottom. Yeah.
Links
Fantastic.
to everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic, even
That
better.
was
even
awesome.
better.
So, I was telling her earlier, the best thing on music these days, I just found out a couple weeks ago, is iTunes Music. In my opinion, for $9.99 a month, because it used to be $9.99 to download an album or a single or do all these different things. It add up and add up and add up, right? Then you had this library, and then one time I was just going through it, and it kind of showed me something, like the new Gojira album or something like that. Download? Okay, download, done. It didn't charge me. So basically, I think they just changed their policy. It's $9.99 a month, and everything's there, including 4 of my albums are on iTunes. So it's pretty cool.
Wow,
Oh, that's
awesome.
really cool. That's
awesome,
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
So Allison's here with us, and she's from Metal Babe Mayhem. We love her. And we've been talking a little bit about COVID and what's gone on, and I know it's been rough on you too. So I'm glad to see you're back out and about. And
You know, kind of like Rob, I never stopped either. I just had to change.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
you had to change
festivals I set up in my living room. So, you know, I just kind of had to adjust and still make things happen as much as I could, you know, with what was going on.
Yeah, we did that. We did that for like 3 months, 3.5 months. We had Zoom parties, you know, and then we go out and steal people's toilet paper and shit like that. But, you know, after 3.5 months, we kind of said, you know, the hell with this. This is BS. You can't stop living. You can't.
Yes,
you can't
exactly.
sit in a corner and cower.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, where did we meet? Where did we first meet Allison?
Through Allison, ironically.
Well, so you were at 80s in the park.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And Alison Kazaya was speaking with her a lot, and then you guys connected, and then she's like, oh yeah, she was really cool, and so we connected through her again. So that's really awesome. We had a lot of fun at those.
Yeah, exactly. And you did those amazing photos for me too.
Yeah, when I was blonde.
I know. It's so different having the dark hair compared to those blonde photos. We need some new photos now with your dark hair.
I would love to. I would love to. You've got a new stuff coming out, right? If I remember correctly, new merchandise.
I do. You know, I'm really into health and fitness. You know, I've always been my whole life. But, you know, another kind of change I've done this last year, you know, with the current situation is I decided to get certified as a personal trainer and nutritionalist.
Awesome.
So I actually just got certified. So as part of that, I'm creating a new fitness line. So now I'm putting out tights and sports bras and, you know, all the kind of the fitness related clothes.
I think Lit Soul has sports bras for sale too, don't you?
You know, we should. We have tons of merch. We got the most outstanding merch. There's tons of different items. I think we need to add that, though, for sure.
Yeah. We have, because a good friend of ours who lives here in town, Kenny Rhino Earl, used to play drums for Manowar, and they have the little G strings that say Manowar on them.
Do some G strings, you guys. Both of you.
So yeah, you should.
I'll get them.
You should. I mean, why not, right? I mean, and whatever people will buy. You don't sell albums anymore. I mean, if you're lucky, you sell a few. Nobody sells albums anymore. Even the biggest of rock stars hardly make any money from selling albums anymore. What do? They tour and they sell merch, and that's the industry nowadays. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Until some new alternative comes along, that's what we're all stuck with, and it's not a bad thing, but I do miss those days walking into a record store and flipping through the vinyl and the new vinyl.
Yeah, being excited to get it.
Yeah.
I still do that. I could flip around the camera right now and show you guys 3,000 CDs on the opposite side right now. I never stopped.
And records.
Cool.
And records too.
That's awesome. I wish everybody was like that, but you know, everybody wants it
and
now.
And have the Lit Soul and hard copy too on the website. It's 1111. We picked, you know, that special Angels number.
Well, I was going to ask this young man over here who swears up and down he's a vampire, but I'll bet you I'm at least 10 years older than you. What it would take to get a signed copy of the latest one when it's out, and of course we'll pay for it and postage and everything else. But before we go today, I want to get that information from you.
Just message me your address and we'll make it happen.
So we can put it with like that stuff too. It's like hopefully someday it'll be, you know, people will go, oh my God, look, this is signed by Robert Chevelle. Holy shit, you know.
We'll put together a little care package for you guys. Seriously. So.
That would be
That
awesome.
would
Lit Soul stuff, totally.
And now that I'm done begging. No, we're having fun. This is fun. Now that we've finally gotten through most of the technical
Difficulties.
hurdles that we went through initially, last year we did this a few times with some bands, but I don't remember it being that difficult. You know?
It was not. But of course we were at home during COVID and not having, you know, life and everything else going on around us. So we were able to just like hone in and focus on that stuff. But I was so excited that Alison reached out to us to do this type of stuff. We're all about supporting live music, rock and roll specifically.
Any type of music, Ellie. Any type of music.
And promoting anybody that promotes music, which is what Alison, you do as well. Where can people find you? You have a website too, correct?
Yeah, I am promoting two main websites. You can go to metalbabemayhem.com and you can find everything there, including my blog site and my playlist, as well as all my merch. And then I also have an Etsy store. So if you go to etsy.com/shop/metalbabemayhem, you can find all of my designs. And what's great about Etsy is they go from extra small to 3X, tons of colors, variety options. So sky's the limit. And on top of it, if you see something that you want and it's not there, like I actually had someone email me today wanting a men's tank top. You know, he saw me wearing the tank. He's like, could I get that in a men's version? I'm like, give me a few minutes, you know. So if you have a special request, just message me and we can make that happen too.
You can do the same thing, right, buddy?
I do it for him. So anything that you want him to do, you know, is going to come to me anyway.
There's the Etsy thing, and there's tons of merch.
I've noticed, Rob, you have a penchant for playing Les Pauls.
Yes, I do. Did you say Les Pauls?
Yes, I said Les Pauls.
Yes, yes. I don't know what it is. I just love the way Les Pauls look. And again, I have 2 great acoustic guitars, and I have like 4 Les Pauls. One's a '74 Randy Rhoads year, but it's a Sunburst, but it's the same Gibson custom Les Paul that he had in that year. And I got a few other ones and acoustics, and I tried to maybe get a Tele one time, and then the Tone, and I don't know, I just always just stuck to Les Pauls.
Yeah. What kind of rig are you playing through right now?
The Mesa Boogie, it's called Electrodyne. It's a 1-channel, it's more for like a rhythm guitar kind of thing, but the tone is just amazing, like a tube amp, like a real tube amp.
Right.
And it goes into a Marshall slanted cab that I was used for the longest time. But now recently, Johnny, my lead guitar player, he's got the Mesa Boogie. It's smaller. It's got 2 big speakers, but it's flatter and smaller. It's easy to carry to gigs and stuff like that. So both of ours match. And he has an angle cab, and I have he's got a lot of cabs, but I have the main Mesa Boogie one. So it's answer your question right now. It's Mesa going through Mesa.
Cool.
I have no effect. I just get the tone that I like coming from that. I got a tuner, and that's really it.
So you don't use any chorus or digital delay or anything like that, then? Just
No, that tone from that Mesa Boogie is my tone, and through that Les
natural
Paul,
distortion.
and through my hands, and just me.
Very nice.
I get that tone. Other people try to play it, and they don't get actually the same tone a lot. You know, people add stuff to it, and you know, the more you add to it, the more just it kind of takes away from the signal. You know.
Right.
You know, Michael Schenker, according to Richie Blackmore. You know, but of course, you know, you get a lot of other guitar players at different times. The Edge, you know, he uses a million stuff. You know, that kind of thing.
Well, I've worked with a few guitar players who've got more than 14 pedals on the floor, and I go, "What the hell?"
That
And then you
that is
connection, you get a back connection, you got to go through every single one. Okay, which one is it? You know what I mean? It's like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about mod amps nowadays. Just modeling amps, you don't have to go through a lot of that. So if
I
you're
don't know
into
if I
that
want to
thing,
do that. I think it takes the sexiness away. I like looking at the stage and looking at the amps. It doesn't have to be a wall of Marshalls, you know. But like we played another gig up at the Canyon Club. Who we played? We played with Rage Against the Machine cover band, also Chester. What was Chester band? Linkin Park. Linkin Park. The Linkin Park guys come up. Everybody was great, you know. But the Linkin Park guys come up, and there's no amps. This was like last year, and I was just starting to figure it out. Like, where are their amps? Well, it's going through the PA. Well, how do they get their tone? And look at that. I'm like, oh my god, this is like, yeah.
You're old school. You're
Yeah,
old school.
little DIs and a little amplifier or some sort of tone signal generator or something, and that's it, huh?
For them?
Yeah.
Or for me?
No,
for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for them. I was trying to look where it was, but my point was there was drums, and everybody has a guitar in their hands, and everything else is empty. It was just like weird.
That's
weird.
That stage is too clean for me. I like a clean stage.
Yeah.
I like an organized stage, but
Yeah.
I still like to see an amplifier. I mean, it just
Totally. Especially a big stage like that. Those are big stages. Nice
Yeah.
real wood stages is really nice, you know. It's just,
yeah. And I even like to see the 10,000 Marshalls a la Yngwie Malmsteen once in a while because it just makes I salivate.
Totally. Just make sure that they're not like, what was that one band? Oh my God. The guy comes behind on tour and takes a picture of the back of
The boxes, yeah.
all boxes. Yeah, one amp, actually one real amp, you know.
Yeah, and it's probably a pig nose or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Remember those?
Those are like, I haven't seen those in a long time, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, I actually have a collection of miniature guitar amps that we have a bar in our backyard. It's called Lisa's Whammy Bar, and it's the whole bar is painted like Frankenstein, and it's pretty cool. But I've got a collection of miniature guitar amps out there too, and I want a pig nose.
What city are you in? Do you mind if I ask?
We're in Melbourne, Florida. We are about.
That's where Jim Morrison was born, right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
We're about 45 minutes from Disney World. I think we need to wrap this one up. It's been such a pleasure talking with you, Robert, and of course you, Allison. Thank you for having us. And
And Allison, when you come to Florida, we got to hang out. And Robert, you guys need to book some shows in Florida.
Yeah, and listen, you know, we also do a karaoke show, but that's not the only thing we do. Obviously, we do bands and many other things as well. But if you ever want to sing karaoke, make sure it sound like it's never been mixed.
I'm there. I can't wait to do it with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
I just bought the new X-Air 18 Behringer digital mixer, and I've never used one before. I've always been an analog guy. So I'm in my relearning stages, but oh yeah.
Do you guys have a website or something?
Yeah, we do. It's called.
We do.
Here.
Rockstar FLA. Rockstar Entertainment. Wait.
Okay.
What is it?
I have no idea, man. She does.
We're revamping it. I'm so sorry.
I think it's rockstarfla.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Cool.
mainly find us on Facebook, Rockstar Entertainment LLC.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
where
And
we do
we'll work on getting the little care package out to you guys.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that
and listen, come to Florida where freedom rules.
Need to book Lit Soul in Florida. That'd be great.
Sandy's trying to get me to come there, so I got to come there. And I got a
Listen.
daughter as well that actually lives out there too in Clearwater.
Oh yeah, I love Clearwater. I used to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
at a bar called Buckets there back in the 80s.
Clearwater is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really
Anyway.
Okay,
nice.
guys.
Once again, thank you guys. We're going to sign off now.
Thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure meeting you, Robert. Rock on, yes. And Allison,
Thank you.
love you, girl.
Cool.
Okay. Ciao.
All right.
Yes.